got caught, petting the cat, and so consequently I ran out of time here. So. Who brought the cherry tomatoes? Thank you. Anybody on YouTube can't get cherry tomatoes though, unless you're here. So. And I guess no eggs this morning, so that's okay. Good morning. Good cherry tomatoes. Okay. Okay. September newsletter. How did it get to be September? What is that all about? Article on the back by Janice, of course, and all kinds of things going on. Qigong always on Sunday. Josie is going to be doing a message on the 3rd of September. Introduction to the process on that Wednesday, on the 6th. Followers of the Way, first Thursday of the month. Jan, did you want to say anything about Followers of the Way, or just... Nope. So, there you go.
It's the Bible overview, spiritual stuff from the metaphysical sense.
Okay. And for people on YouTube, you didn't hear it, so sorry. Do they get background music? What noise? A little bit? Just, well, yeah, we are. Okay. We do have a couple patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, "Life is what happens while you're making other plans." I know, what is that? And George, I'm always relieved when someone is delivering a eulogy and I realize I'm listening to it. So, yeah. Oh, that was probably on the Wednesday, on the August calendar. 3 margaritas, women's luncheon this coming Friday. Be there, be square, right? Okay. At latitude 60 degrees south, got that in your brain there? It's possible to sail around the world without touching land. Might be cold down there though, right? Things that make you go, Only one here today. When we ask advice, we are usually looking for an accomplice. Charles Varlet, Marquis de la Grand, 1631. Oh, and church picnic. Was that on here? It should be the 10th. So, yep, church picnic the 10th. No, what? Correct. No church here on the 10th. Jan, are we going to do church at the park again this year? Okay. It worked out great last year, and we have a PA system this time instead of yelling and screaming, so we'll yell and scream anyway. So, general use of printed tickets or ballots have become standard election practice only in recent centuries. Under English common law, it was long customary to submit many local issues to voice vote. Citizens assembled on a specific day, then expressed their will by shouting for the proposal or candidate they favored. Noise was so intimately associated with these occasions that the election itself came to be known as a shouting. It was not unusual for a campaign to be conducted with such fervor that the outcome became clear the day before the shouting. In such instance, it was literally all over but the shouting. Applied to contests in general, the political term came to name any situation where victory is clear before a final decision is reached. So now you know where that one came from. Oh, why do men's clothing have buttons on the right and women's have them on the left? That actually is, that kind of sort of is what they're saying here. Kind of sort of is. Yeah. When buttons were invented, they were very expensive and worn primarily by the rich. Since most people are right-handed, it is easier to push buttons on the right through the holes on the left. Because wealthy women were dressed by maids, dressmakers put the buttons on the maid's right, and that's where the women's buttons have remained ever since. No kidding. I know. So, ooh, England has no kidney bank, but it does have a Liverpool. I used to be a banker, then I lost interest. I dropped out of communism class because of lousy marks. I have to keep going. All the toilets in New York police stations have been stolen. The police have nothing to go on. Just a job at the bakery because I needed dough. Haunted French pancakes give me the creeps. The crepes. I can't do it anymore. Yeah, we got to just kind of stop right there. So, oh, sure. An elderly man in North Carolina had owned a large farm for several years. He had a large pond in the back fixed up really nice, along with some picnic tables, horseshoe courts, and some apple and peach trees. The pond was properly shaped and fixed up for swimming when it was built. One evening, the old farmer decided to go down to the pond. He hadn't been there for a while and look it over. He grabbed a 5-gallon bucket to bring some fresh fruit back. As he neared the pond, he heard voices shouting and laughing with glee. When he came closer, he realized it was a bunch of young women skinny dipping in the pond. He made the women aware of his presence as they all went to the deep end to shield themselves. One of the women shouted to him, "We're not coming out until you leave." The old man frowned and replied, "I didn't come down here to watch you ladies swim naked or to get out of the pond naked." Holding the bucket, he said, "I came here to feed the alligator." We'll stop there also. I know. We're going to sing, I know it's hard to believe, I actually remember, Josh Groban. But I don't remember which one. Wants eggs, they might want to depart and go grab them at some point.
I'll wait till you get back.
Otherwise, they'll be gone. Colorful. See you too?
Mr. Phil. You know, Phil and I have a unique relationship. Not only do we celebrate each other's successes, we celebrate each other's failures. You know, I told you about the epic blueberry spill that Phil did some time ago. It's epic. Blueberries everywhere. Little roll streaks across the floor. Well, the other day I was washing some dishes, and you know, you really don't need to excel at that, Phil. You know, you could take that drive to excel somewhere else. So I was in the kitchen and had this different bowl that I'm used to, and it was full of water, and it slipped and sloshed, and man, it was all over me, all over the floor, and all over, it was everywhere. So Phil came in and, "Good job, Lynch," grabbed a towel and started wiping it up. So celebrating your failures is just as important as celebrating your successes, I think. And on that note, I have a failure to address. The message that I thought I was going to bring today, gone. And not just gone, but gone. I mean, it was going to be about nurturing the here and now. So it was so gone that I read an article, I read a whole magazine on time and our perception of time, all of that. I thought, well, that'll give me inspiration. Nope, gone. So I thought, well, I'll talk to you about being angry, because right now Mars is just hitting this area where it's in the same spot that the eclipse was in, and so it's really active and really present right now. And I thought, well, you know, that makes us all agitated. Anybody been agitated? Yeah. So I could talk to you about the process of moving through being agitated in a better way, and I might still do that. But it just didn't have any energy. What happens when I get an inspiration for a message? It's kind of a unique thing. It's like I get this little ping and I get an idea, and then here's this supporting thing and here's that supporting, and I kind of put little energetic icons in my aura. And then when I come here to you, then those will light up. And I'll know when I need to talk about each thing. Nothing but crickets this week. So here's all these factoids about time. No, gone. Then things I know about anger. But there's nothing, and I don't feel that connection. I get this beautiful connection to spirit. And it's like I can just step out of the way and let the energy flow and let the information flow. It's just wonderful, and it's beautiful. And that hasn't hit yet. So it's not like they didn't know who wasn't going to be here today. He, she, we, it, they, God, divine source, whatever that is for you. Because those things are known. But it's like everybody's changing right now so fast that what's important to you, yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's going, oh my God. So what's important is shifting so fast that they're waiting till the moment to kind of give me information. So what I want to do is I want to start with talking a little bit about some of these factoids about time, and talking a little bit about the energy of processing anger and frustration. And we'll see what shows up. Because you're still shifting. You're still changing. And so what's important for you has not anchored yet, has not been delivered to me yet. So, you know, I wish I was like a regular preacher. You just go, I'm going to talk about this, and here's my message, and there's that southern accent. I don't know where that came from. No, I got to do it intuitively. So let's talk about time. You know, we all have a different perception of time. And there is certain areas in the brain that calculate time. We have different timers in our brain. There's a timer that times, like if a baby's been crying, that'll let us know, oh, it's been too long. That baby's cried too long. I need to go pick it up. Or that, you know, we just need to let them cry it out, and I'll get to sleep. So there's that internal timing that gives us that information. There's different aspects of time that we perceive. They have a whole science dedicated to helping you process time while you wait for your program to load on the computer. Did you know that? That's the hardest thing they've had to learn is that, you know, now they have the little circle that goes around. They used to have the little hourglass. And because the person on the other side of the computer, our chronologer for time is messed up when we're in front of the computer. So we think it takes forever for something to load when it really probably hasn't in the grand scheme of time. But our chronological meter doesn't measure that kind of time well. So they have to give us this little icon that circles. Oh, something's happening, I'm okay. Because if nothing's happening, then it's like, what's wrong with this? It's not going to ever load. You know, we get all freaked out. So time is this really weird thing. And then what time for you is not the same time for somebody else. And have you ever gotten involved in something and oh my God, you're like, is this over yet? And then it's like you're on vacation and oh my gosh, time flew. Where did it go? So our perception of time is flexible and is fluid and shifts depending upon what event or what activity we're in. And the only time that really has value is right now. But here's a problem with that. There's several problems with that. The biggest problem with that is, oops, there went that moment. Whoop, there's another one gone. You can't reclaim them. They're just gone. So we spend a lot of time in regret about shoulda, coulda, woulda. And then we also spend a lot of time about, well, I've got to get that done. I've got to get this done. That's in the future. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oughta, gotta, must. You know, we're in that. But instead of being here and now. But being in the here and now grants us the opportunity to reframe what happened and adjust where we're going. Apparently different cultures view time differently. I guess people in the Andes Mountains, for them time, the future's in the past. The future's behind them because they can't see it. The past is in front of them because they can see that. How interesting is that? And it's all backwards for us. We can't quite grasp that concept, can we? But it's all relative to how we perceive things. And different cultures have different perspectives of time. I don't want to take the time to get into that. But I want to talk to you a little bit about goal setting, because goal setting is so important for us to move and manifest and allow ourselves to move into a positive forward motion. And the problem with goal setting is that sometimes our goal setting is flawed. And here's what I mean by that. Have you ever read an article or heard somebody talk and say, all you have to do is tell yourself in 5 years I'm going to make $1 million? You ever heard that? And you just keep telling yourself that over and over and over. And does it work? How many people have ever done that? It doesn't work. Because we set a goal and we're not listening to the inner ring true, and the inner ring true is going, nyeh. The bullshit meter doesn't, okay, no. Because we don't have $1 million idea yet. Or we don't have $1 million activity yet. We don't have the willingness to put out $1 million worth of energy to discovering something new and different and unusual. Now, there are people who are very driven to do that. And they can say, in 5 years, I'm going to make $1 million. And they probably will. Because they're used to creating these new, innovative things. They get in the flow of that. And you and I struggle with today. Don't we? Isn't today sometimes a challenge? Which is where that getting frustrated and angry comes in. Because today is happening right now. And often what's happening right now deters us from hoping and dreaming and having goals and intentions set out there. Because today's hard. And the harder we experience today, the more difficult we experience today, the more difficult it is to manifest something better in the future. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, if we look at what frustrates us, that's really important. It's really important. Phil and I did this process years ago, and he said, I asked him what frustrates him. Stupid people. Stupid people just frustrate them, making stupid decisions. And so we talked more about that. And come to find out, it wasn't that he was frustrated with stupid people. He was frustrated that they didn't have the information they need. So what does he do for a living that he loves? He's giving people information. What you're frustrated about, what irritates you, is a real good cue to your future. Because it's irritating and bothering you because you're at odds with it, because you haven't found what is your destiny about that yet. That makes sense? So what frustrates you the most? What frustrates you? Let's talk about that. What frustrates you the most? Yourself? What about yourself? Being stuck in old ways. So your destiny may lie in being innovative, finding new pathways of doing things, or new inspirations that challenge the status quo and the way it always was. So knowing that that irritates you is not a bad thing. It's really a good thing. And this puts you on a path of discovery. Now it's like, oh, so I get to read books and look at other people and ask questions about what what other people did to move beyond that cycling around and doing the same thing over and over and over. How people broke free from that. I get to look at that. Bill, would you check the temperature in here, please? It's seeming a little warm. Is it warm in here? Yeah, people are dying. It's on our list to get the thermostat replaced. So.
No, we just have to replace Dan. He's warming the temperature on him. Yeah.
It's not Dan's fault.
I'm not the one that was off.
Oh. Yeah, there's the heat source. So what else frustrates you? When we find ourselves frustrated, here's the deal. There's brain science that says that when we find ourselves frustrated and we blow up about it, we are locking in. Did that really come on? Is this okay? So we're locking in a neurological pathway that makes being irritated and agitated our first choice. And every time we go, oh my gosh, and just bleh, we've locked in, we've reactivated this neurological pattern. And so it's really hard to break a pattern of being overreactive about something because it's almost hardwired. So what's imperative to disengage that hardwire is breathe, take a break, and apply extra effort to not reacting or choosing to react in a different way. Like instead of going, oh my gosh, there's water all over the kitchen, or oh my gosh, there's blueberries all over the floor. Like, oh, isn't that epic? Shifting our thinking. When we can shift our thinking, then that shifts these neurological connections. They break apart, and the energy attaches somewhere else in a more positive way. You have power over that. You have control over that. So whatever habituated pattern you have, do it differently, and the new patterns will hardwire. They'll be like hardwiring. The channels are so repetitive that that's going to be your natural response. Okay? So take a look at that. That irritation is this flash point that says something's not okay. Well, you know, we view life, sometimes these frustrations, we view them as life and death. You know, I spilled water on the floor. This is not life and death. Blueberries on the floor. Not life and death. And it can be really funny if you let yourself find the humor in it. It's funny. Oh my gosh, look at that. You can see where it rolled. Oh, there's one under the fridge, I bet, because I can see the trail going there. But when we decide that we must be angry about frustrations, then that's what we are, is angry about frustrations. The good book says, be angry but don't sin. The anger is this flashpoint saying, take a look, take a look. In the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve had the fruit, then they felt shame. And God came to find them, came to talk to them, because He always came to talk to them in the cool of the evening. He said, where are you? Right. What have you done? This is not, where are you? I'm going to get you for this. It was, where are you? Where are you consciously? What have you done? What is this? Let's look at it. When Cain and Abel were arguing, before Cain killed Abel, God went to Cain and says, why is your countenance fallen? Take a look. Instead of thinking that whatever you're experiencing is horrible, take a look. As we take a look, that's where the power is. And if we can take a look at what agitates and irritates us, then we have power not only over that situation, but we have power over where we're going with that. And with the planetary situation happening, irritation is present. It's going to be in your face now more than ever. So take a look. What are you looking at? What's irritating me? Why? Why is this irritating me? Well, people should just be different. You came to teach them. Ha ha. Right? well, it just shouldn't be like that. You came to change it. You came to change the world. They go, well, how can I change the world? I'm just me. You change your world and everything else changes. One person makes a huge difference. One. And you're it. You're it. You're the one in your world that changes everything. And you know, sometimes that change is just one tiny little thing. Like instead of being frustrated and angry about something, to find humor or joy in it. Celebrate it. Shift your thinking. Look at it differently. Oh my, look at that. There's where the power is. And with that power, now you can look to the future and go, oh, this is really important to me. For me, my irritation, my agitation was that I couldn't understand. I was just frustrated that you couldn't have the psychic awareness stuff and Jesus too. Frustrated me. So I thought, well, why can't I put them together? Nobody else is. And here we are today. This came from 20 years later. It'll be 20 years in November. Came from a frustration. Frustrations are powerful. Greet them with joy instead of anger. You could choose anger if you want. That's certainly an option. But if you're frustrated and angry about something, take a look at it because it has a bigger picture for you. There's more here for you. Does that make sense? Make sense? There's more I want to say on that. Hold on a second. Oh, there's more to be said about that. Incoming! Dive, duck, duck. Okay. Let's talk about being frustrated with oneself. Shall we? What? Do we have to? Yeah, we do. We do. Because some of the frustrations that we experience are because we have expectations on ourselves. Bill's nodding his head really big in the background. We expect ourselves to be perfect. We expect ourselves to know stuff we don't know. We expect ourselves to have patterns embedded that have not been habituated yet. We have all these expectations. When it's really important to go back to, why is your countenance fallen? Where are you? Take a look. Just be and acknowledge. Be aware. That awareness, that whole tree of knowledge of good and evil thing, that wasn't to set humanity up for failure. That was to wake us up and let us know we have the power of choice. Because with the power of choice, then we have the option of doing really great things. If we're just reactionary, we're just following instincts, we have no power, no choice. Choice is valuable, and we can choose to look at it differently. Some of the expectations have been embedded in us from childhood. Oh, girls are quiet and they do crochet. Boys are scientists. Well, I guess I can't be very smart. You know, and if your BS meter didn't peg because that was the programming you got, then it's time to reevaluate that, recalibrate your BS meter. Right? So what are you frustrated about yourself about? Let's just put some ideas out there, and it doesn't have to be really about you, unless of course it is, but give me some suggestions. Yes, ma'am. Procrastinating. Procrastination. Okay, so let's look at procrastination. The energy of procrastination is feeling powerless. Feeling like you don't have it all, having enough wisdom, enough energy, enough time. And again, there's time. There's that perception of time. Often with procrastination and putting things off, if you take the hardest thing and do that first, or the thing you're most resistant about and do that first, that frees up a ton of energy for everything else, and everything else you can power through. Because there's power in movement. Make your bed. If you're procrastinating, make your bed. Because there's one thing, oh, I did it. And you can move on from there. And when you walk back through that room, oh, look, the bed's made. See, I can accomplish something. You know, just a little thing. Do one thing you can do and do it. Because it's that feeling overwhelmed, overloaded of, I can't, I don't have enough. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. Often the thing that is blocking us up the most or creating the procrastination is really something that is challenging an old perception. You know, like, oh, I gotta call the doctor's office because there's a problem on the bill. I don't want to do that, and then I can't do that, so then I don't get this done, and I don't get that done. And here's the deal. We tell ourselves, I can't understand that. And yet we've forgotten to tell ourselves, they can help me. We think we're the adversary. We think it's an adversarial role, and we think that's a challenge, and we think there's no help available. You don't have to know. If they don't know, you can call your insurance company. They know. Somebody out there knows. You just don't know who knows yet. I don't have that information yet. So we can cut ourselves some slack, give ourselves some encouragement, and take one little step. And what's really fun is often is just easy peasy. It's like, oh, I was stressing about that. You ever notice that to be? And then you have the energy to clean the slate. So look at what's the underlying energy of the block. What's the hardest thing that you've got going? And why? Why is that an agitation? Why is there a resistance there? And in that resistance, there is a message you've received, an expectation that may not be true anymore. This is asking you to take a look and challenge your own thinking and come up with a new way of perceiving that situation. What is something else we get hung up about? Oh, a couple over here. Now everybody's all like, oh yeah, pick me. Yeah.
Which one?
Which one? This or that? Oh, I love it.
Well, no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Physical possession.
Clutter.
The kind of clutter that you just want to set a match to it and walk away. That kind of thing. That kind of frustration.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Okay. So clutter is really telling you what's going on in your mind. Too much thinking. To declutter your home requires getting out of your mind and into your heart space. You probably heard the thing, oh, pick something up and see if you love it. If you love it, keep it. If you don't, let it go. Okay, sure. But if your brain is cluttered, then you're not going to know if you like it or... I've got a back room. Phil and I have this back room. Oh my God. You know, it used to be a junk drawer. Now it's a junk room. I'm a look at that. You know, it all has value, but it isn't where it needs to be. So everything has to come out of the closet, and then we can put things back in an orderly fashion. Used to be in an orderly fashion, then you pull something out and it doesn't quite fit without moving some stuff. I'll just leave it right here, and then it's just a mess. So it's a matter of perceiving order in one's heart and in one's mind, and finding value in letting it go for a while. So there's things that we hang on to energetically, emotionally, and spiritually, and mentally that we can let go or set them aside for now. I don't have to figure that out. I don't have to know about all of that. Cutting ourselves some slack again and knowing that I can set that aside and get back to it. It's there for me if I ever choose to look at it again. I have Christmas decorations put out. Anybody else have Christmas decorations stuck somewhere? I don't want to get rid of them, but I need to clear a space for them. So what the clutter is asking of you is to clear a space in your heart for yourself. Does that make sense? And as we clear a space in our heart for ourselves, then that becomes a willing aspect. I worked on the flyer for an upcoming presentation yesterday. As soon as I got closed down the computer after making that flyer, it was like, I'd really like to, I need to get in and clean that room. I'm ready. I'm ready to do that. Because I'd been holding on to this and it was floating in my head and I didn't know what to do. As soon as I got that resolved, that cleared up a ton of the energy, because I didn't think I could do that. I mean, I could, but I didn't know. I'd never done it quite that way before. I hadn't used that program before, all of that. So it freed up a ton of energy, and now I can face that. I still don't like it. It's going to still not be fun, but now I have more energy for that. Phil said, hey, what do you think about cleaning the room today? Oh, no, not the room. I'm here if you need me. Oh, no. He's been doing that for months. No, not yet. I could do that now. So, because I created some space by dealing with something that was an expectation of I couldn't do it. Anytime we say the word I can't, it's an I incantation, a spell we cast upon ourselves that keep us stuck. So the I can't word is really, or phrase is really powerful to hold us back from moving forward. So if we're feeling I can't, it's because there's something there for us to look at that has an energetic attachment to it or an expectation attached to it that we're ready to revisit and look at again. Make sense? Kelly? Losing weight. Oh, good grief. I've lost weight. Just this. It's taken me a couple of years, 45 pounds. Wow. Losing weight is complicated because it's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. All four. Physical aspect is doing stuff and being more active than the food we take in. But it's also about making sure we have the right vitamins and vitamin supplements and all that sort of thing, because it's really hard to be active when we're not supported appropriately, okay? So eating right, all that stuff, getting enough sleep. Mental aspect, we hang on to weight as this big, giant, yes! Ooh. Albatross, in case you didn't hear that. We hang on to it because we feel like we have this expectation of what we should be, we have an expectation of what we shouldn't be, and this is our statement of I'm not okay. And why do we do that to ourselves? Because mentally we're not in a place yet to let it go. Because mentally we're not done punishing ourselves yet. And the flip side to that, we're not done rewarding ourselves yet. You know, I have to eat to reward myself because life is hard. And then, oh, now I have to shame myself for doing that. I have to eat because I need to reward myself because I've been shaming myself. Now, and we do that back and forth. We make ourselves nuts. And spiritually is about accepting who we are, where we are, and honoring our physical form, loving ourselves enough, being in that place of grace where we can step beyond needing that external stuff to make us feel okay, because we feel okay already here. Now, with that said, there's an energetic structure within the physical form. I didn't mean to get here, but here we are. That I used to have an eating disorder, and I would starve myself and then binge eat, starve, binge. And that screws with your energetic systems as well. So I know of which I speak. There are worse things in this world than being fat. One of them is being so whacked out about it that you don't have any peace in your life at all. So being in that spiritual state of, okay, here's where I'm at. Doesn't matter how I got here. Let's see what I can do from now. And I don't have to be skinny tomorrow. I could be stronger today. And if I'm stronger today, then tomorrow will take care of itself. And again, setting that intent for I'm going to be happy. The intent is not to be skinny. The intent is to be happy. And being thin along the way can be accomplished, or thin or whatever. There's an energetic structure here within the system. When I was in the craziness of it all, I would be starving and have just eaten a full meal. Starving. And then I could be starving myself and not hungry. It's crazy, just crazy stuff. But you can take your hand right here in your solar plexus and you can dial that one way and see how you feel. That feels really good, leave it there. That's the wrong way, go the other way. And you could do it at least a turn or two. This is in that solar plexus chakra, and it's a swirling chakra. So it may be too open or too closed, and it may be too open in this moment, too closed in that moment. But you can dial that and adjust that so that you're at peace. It's all about being at peace. Being at peace with yourself, being at peace in your world. Does that make sense? Oh, there's something else I want to tell you on that. So the bottom line is that you can physically adjust your chakra. This chakra is all about self-esteem, courage, individuation, doing it your way, being unique to you. Does that make sense? Did the lights just flicker? Yeah. Okay. So when we're trying to be what everybody else thinks we should be, we'll have issues. We'll have issues with that. That was just like freaky weird. Or not. Apparently so. Apparently so. It's about peace. When there's peace, then we don't supplement that with external stimulation. So did you try the dialing thing? Yeah. Did you feel different? Yeah. Didn't that feel good? It did feels really good, doesn't it? So, it's a good thing. Try that. Yeah. Not saying things. Oh, that's a big one. Not saying things that you want to say. Well, there's always that time delay where you have that snappy answer 2 hours later. Or at 2 a.m. Oh, I should have said that. Would have been just a zinger. Maybe it's a good thing you didn't say it at the time that you had it. It's there and not saying. Okay, part of that is the energy of feeling safe enough to say what's on your heart to say. Sometimes we hold back because the other person can't hear it, and we energetically know that. And the other is we energetically know we aren't going to say it in a way that's good and supportive and helpful. With that said, sometimes it's important to be able to say, okay, I needed to address that. I didn't in this moment. Cut yourself some slack and revisit it. And when this happened, here's what was going on. And what I really like to say about that is this. The key with saying what's important on your heart is to leave out you are. You are making me mad. You are wrong. You are whatever. Those are pronouncements. And your soul may be blocking you from saying that. So this is asking you to find a new way to say what you're experiencing in a different way that is supportive to an understanding. So what does that other person really need to hear? And when you can find what that other person really needs to hear, maybe what they really need to hear isn't that you're suffering and their words hurt your feelings. Maybe what they really need to hear is that their words have power. And what you'd really like to hear from them is your value. Finding a different way to say what the other person needs to hear and what you need to express. And sometimes what we need to express is stop. And there's just no way around that. Without a specific example, the feeling that I'm getting for you is this is about being heard. And in the moment you feel you need to say something, you intuitively are knowing you're not going to be heard right now. And you're not going to be, what you really want to express is not going to be expressed in the way you would like it to be expressed. So backing up a little bit, giving yourself some breather. I didn't defend myself. Well, intuitively you couldn't. This is not about you being fearful or you being less than. This is intuitively knowing that you needed time to process. Does that make sense? What I'm also hearing is as you are able to reframe things, that's going to give you more courage down the road. You also can adjust this one too. Down and up. So if you're not saying what you'd like, if you can go that way. Whatever that way is for you. I don't know. Try that. And if you're venomous verbalizing, you might want to go the other way. Give yourself time to find a new way to say that. Does that make sense? We're really taking longer here than I thought. Let's do a guided meditation, shall we? I'm sure we have lots of other things we could say.